was a point in time in my career when I felt I was being immensely complacent, so I stopped working.
My life, I think Amitji's played a big role when I was really down and out, and Jayji has played a big role in saying, get up and write now. I don't care what you do. In 2 weeks, I want to kind of say that stuff. I don't care if I'm in the film or not. You're doing it. The only time we've ever fought is the first day of our film. When we were doing Cheeni Kum, and he came and said, okay, he did a first shot in the kitchen, and I said, I don't know how to tell Amitabh Bachchan one more.
I think what Kajal was saying is the discussion of collections was within the film fraternity. That's our job. That's our business. Outside, was it a good film? Was it not a good film? Both Aishwarya and Mom, I think, have already contributed so much, but they have so much more to give now.
Hello everyone, this is Aina and welcome to Instant Bollywood. I am with three people who've not only got an inspiring story to us today, but also are very inspiring individuals. Joining me in a conversation is R Balki, Saiyami, Kher and Abhishek Bachchan. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Is your name Aina or Anina?
Aina, like mirror.
She's Anina.
I'm Anina.
Anina.
In the film.
In the film, right. I have to first say that I really like the trailer of the film.
You.
And my first question to you is that, cricket in our country is actually an emotion. It's more than a sport. So when you're making a film where cricket has so much to play, it's such an integral part of the story, is there a risk you feel somewhere as to how the audience would perceive it?
Cricket has an emotion, like a lot of things have emotion. Our job in cinema, I feel, is not to keep borrowing that emotion, it's to add to that emotion. Can I make that emotion higher? So I don't look at anything as, am I nervous about that? No, I will be nervous only if I can't add to that emotion. You can borrow, but borrowing will not ever match the emotion they feel when they're seeing a live match,
Yeah.
So cricket is the reason, is life.
Abhishek, you've said this before in an interview that the most inspiring mentor for me in my life has been my father. When he used to go out on Sunday to say hi to his fans, he always would think about how will they come back to me, and I need to keep working hard. I don't have to feel complacent. Was there ever a point in your life that you felt complacent and you looked at your father and you were like, no, if he's still going, I need to get inspired from that and I need to continue what I'm doing?
Well, I think every actor's been complacent at some point of time. And there was a point in time in my career when I felt I was being immensely complacent, so I stopped working. But I took a break. I needed to reevaluate. And then I think just rejigged a few things in my mind, and that's when I came back and started working. I took about a 2-3 year sabbatical. But at that point, no, it's not just at a point like that. I mean, I think my father inspires me on a daily basis. And that's just the greatness of the man. I mean, 47 years of knowing him, and every day you can still instill awe in a person and inspire somebody in a completely new way. I think that's why he's great. So I think any actor will tell you that Mr. Amitabh Bachchan can inspire you at all times, not just when you're being complacent.
No, 100%. Saiyami, for you, when I saw the trailer, it's like there's a point where she kind of hates her life and she sympathizes with herself, and at the same time she gains that strength. How difficult was it for you as an actor to balance sympathy and strength in the same character?
So there's one thing very clear from Balki is that we are not looking at her as someone who's bichara, someone who's, are bichari ko madad karo. She's not that person at all. Personally, as Anina's journey went, of course she went through a massive tragedy, and it was Paddy sir who came into her life. So AB was talking about this earlier, is that when you're down and out, you have that somebody who comes into your life and pulls you out of that ditch or gives you that hand in whatever way it is. So in this film, it was AB's character, Paddy sir. And there's this book which is like my go-to book for everything, called Tuesdays with Maury, where it's, again, I don't know if you've read it, it's a beautiful book. It's about a sports journalist and his teacher, where Maury talks about saying that, I wake up in the morning and say, enough of self-pity, let's get on with the day. So I feel it's also finding that strength somewhere in that character where, yes, she's gone through what she's gone through, but it is thanks to his character that she found that hope and found that reason to go back to the sport that she loves so much.
You all said in the press conference that this movie has a never say die attitude and gives a lot of hope and inspiration at the same time. Was there ever a point in your life where you felt low on hope, inspiration, and you probably picked yourself up? Then what was that point in your life? Because as creative artists, this field is very unpredictable.
I've always said it publicly, they're the reason I do what I do. And when you start doubting your reason for doing what you do, then you should go back to the reason for doing what you do. And for me, it's my family. They inspire me on a daily basis. We just discussed it about my father, but my entire family. They've always been there to, not to judge, but to inspire and to help pick up. As I think that's what it should be about. Well, like Saiyami was just saying, I think we work in an industry where you fail publicly, you're judged publicly.
Yes.
So it's nice to have a family at home who understands that, who keep you grounded. You know, they pull you back down onto earth when you're flying too high, but they know how to help you get back up.
I think, of course, people, and we've all had lows, and I think in my life, I think Amitji's played a big role when I was really down and out, and Jayji has played a big role in saying, get up and write now. I don't care what you do. In 2 weeks, I want to kind of say that stuff. I don't care if I'm in the film or not. You're doing it. And I was really down and Amitabh, actually, both of them called me and whipped my ass for being, you know, going into that Devdas mode of saying, okay, shit, life is over and things like that. So they actually pulled me out. People are there sometimes like this and who really just kick you. The other times, actually, sometimes you just get an idea. When you have an idea, your sadness goes. You suddenly become worth it to yourself, and you move on. So I feel sometimes when people are there, you must be very lucky to find people like this who are saying the right thing. Sometimes you're not there and you're left to yourself. I've always found right through my life, whether in advertising or not, you have lots of downs and you feel you're useless and you're down. And only when you think of something that's exciting does the other thing disappear. It's like, you know, it's like in love, you know, when you're really dejected and everything else, till you find new love, you don't kind of ever forget the dejection. So it's the same thing with any creative profession. You're always judging yourself by your work, and you kind of are so disappointed. And then when you think of something new, you suddenly say, hey, I'm worth it. And you move on. That's
I relate to that so much. 100%. You know, which actually makes me curious that you've said that, you know, Abhishek, Amitji have been like family to you. When y'all are also working professionally, how do you make sure that the boundaries are drawn when it comes to creative stuff?
Very clearly. Because while the feeling is something, I have a tremendous amount of regard. I don't look at it as family. I just look at it as I'm a fan first and a family second. I'm always a fan. But also, I think sometimes when you're talking professionally, and this is very strangely, I think I pride myself in being a huge fan of Amitabh Bachchan and Jaya Bachchan. But when I'm working with them, the very first film, it's so funny, you just switch. You want to do justice to the person you've been a fan of. You're not going to be, if you're overawed by Amitabh Bachchan, you're destroying your own love for that image that you had. So that was very clear to me from day one. Saying, if I'm going to just buckle under the pressure of the intimidation of Amitabh Bachchan in my own head, he's not intimidating you, then I'm actually destroying myself, because I'm destroying every image I have of him. So why should I do that? So that switch happened to me very luckily on the very first shot of my film. I mean, we almost fought. The only time we ever fought is the first day of our film. When we were doing Cheeni Kum, and he came and said, okay, he did a first shot in the kitchen, and I said, I don't know how to tell Amitabh Bachchan one more. And I said, what? He said, little lower. What do you mean by this? I said, okay, fine. He went and did another one. Again, I did this. Third time again, I said, again, I did this. He lost it in front of the whole set. First day of my shoot as a director. What do you want me to do here? What the hell do you want me to do? You don't want me to do anything else. You want me to just stand up, then say, I said, yeah. He went there, and in anger, he did, without any expression, he stormed off. And he called me to the band. I said, I get it. He said, I get it. I said, good, let's go. This was the conversation we had. My first interaction with Amitabh Bachchan. I could have gone, I thought finished. He's walking out of this film. He thinks I'm shit. And I'm going. But if I didn't do that stuff, I wouldn't do justice to the man in my head. For me, it worked like that, at that point in time. So for me, that's always first. Even now, even though I can meet Abhishek, even though I can meet Amitji, the relationship at the core of it is I am a fan first. Okay, so that will never go. And that gives a lot of respect and a lot of sanctity to that relationship. You don't use it any other differently from fan. And that's what who is not a fan? If you mistake Amitabh Bachchan for anything else, you're crazy. You can't. So it's as simple as that.
No, 100%. And Cheeni Kum was a beautiful film. I remember watching it. I was very little, but I loved that movie a lot.
She had to put that in. I was very little.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
They love making me feel old. So fine.
No, I don't mean to do that. But also, I was speaking to Kajol recently for the trial. I had an interview with her and I asked her what was it like the box office scene back then in the 90s. It wasn't out there, it wasn't too loud. She was like, no, it was a every Friday to Friday thing. It was still out there. We used to know, people used to talk. Now it's even more because of social media and all, it's increasing. What do you have to say and what gives you the conviction that in a time where larger than life films work, like even you said in one of the interviews, what gives you the conviction that, a film like Ghoomer will do well?
Because it's a larger than life. It is larger than life. When something is inspiring and when something is there, when it's the 40 minutes of the film is a carnival right at the end. So it is the larger than life film because the emotions are larger than life. The feeling is larger than life. The achievement is larger than life. Larger than life always does not mean 7,000 dancers on a set. That's not necessarily larger than life. When you're looking at the film, you should say, shit, you need to be overawed. See, cinema, you look like this. Okay? You can't, if you look down on cinema like that, that's not cinema. You have to do some way, whether it's spectacle, whether it's emotion, whether it's what, that's what it is. Because that's why the screen is like that.
The reason it's out there is because also it's being put out there, which I don't think is healthy for creativity. Within the industry, it is imperative that you're obsessed with the numbers because it is a commercial art. You're expecting somebody to buy a ticket. When they buy a ticket, you owe them the value of that money. It's very important for us to be cognizant of the fact that people are spending hard-earned money to come watch you. I don't think it is important for everybody to be discussing, any audience to be discussing the collections of the film. That never used to happen before. I think,
it just never got
in the 90s, like you're saying, what I think what Kajol is saying is the discussion of collections was within the film fraternity. That's our job. That's our business. Outside, was it a good film? Was it not a good film? And I think that conversation needs to go back to that.
No, I completely agree because like in school, college, when I remember watching films, it was whether you really liked
or you don't like
or you didn't like it. It wasn't about this picture ka opening ye hai to jate hai nahi jate. That wasn't the discussion when when I was in school and college. So now if you go to a school or to colleges or even I used to watch all my films in Gaiety. So the discussions used to be it's a great film or kya bakwas hai, and they are ruthless in Gaiety Galaxy. But now it's suddenly like ye picture ne aaj to 8 crore kamaye hai. I recently went for a film to Gaiety Galaxy, so I was just a little very confused. Why are people discussing this? You're an audience whether you like it or not. So.
Abhishek, I have to ask you this. We all are loving Jaya Ji in Rocky and Rani. What was your vibe like when you saw your mother on screen after a very long time?
It's always emotional. With my father, I'm able to view his work as an actor. With my mother, I can't. So I'm a terrible judge of her work because for me, that's Ma. So I can't disassociate that emotion. Like with Aishwarya and with Dad, you can look upon their work. With Mom, it's just an emotion. So I'm a terrible judge of her work. The one thing I can say to the two ladies in my family is I hope and I pray that they do more work, because as viewers of cinema, both Aishwarya and Mom, I think, have already contributed so much, but they have so much more to give now. And it's such an exciting time, and I really do hope as a fan that we get to see both of them do a lot more work.
Yeah, we hope the same. Lastly, before I leave, Balki, so you had said that you're not keen on making biopics, but now you're tilting towards that area. What do you have to say that?
I'm not doing biopic.
Okay.
I've done only one biopic in my life. That's on Muruganandan, Padman, and that's only because, he was himself the most creative subject that I've ever found. So there's no need to add anything, just have to portray him. Even the fictional thing that I did with him, he said, "How did you know?" Okay, actually, a story which he guessed. So it's a strange kind of a person. I've never done a biopic otherwise.
Yeah, but no plans in the future.
See, there's nothing like that, but I would like a person's life. To me, it's a tremendous responsibility. I don't like to take responsibility and to portray another person's life. And for me, you've lived the life, it's fantastic. What's the fun in it for me as a filmmaker? So I always look at it selfishly first, whoever the person is. Unless it's so inspiring. For me, actually, the reason for doing Padman was, where would I get to do a film where the sanitary napkin was the hero of the film? A commercial film with the sanitary pad is at the center of it. And I was very clear what I was doing. So that really excited me, and Muruganandam is a phenomenal man.
Yeah, I did hear when you said that you got very fascinated when you met him.
Yeah.
And you were like, I have to make this film. So thank you so much. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
talking to you all. And I don't know if I'll ever get this opportunity to tell you, Abhishek, but I loved you in Man Marziya.
Oh,
It's
thank
one of my
you.
favorite
Yeah,
films.
it's
Yeah,
Yes.
so did I.
Thank you.
What a
You
film.
saw it when you were very young.
No! No, I wasn't that
We
young.
all loved that, actually.
But Man Marziya was crazy, and I wish like you do more roles like
Thank
that
you.
as well. But
Thank
all the very best for Ghoomer.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Hope
you.
you
Thank
liked
you
the
very
film.
much.
Yes.
If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to Instant Bollywood.